Commercial Construction Coffee Talk fans. Thanks for chiming in. My name's David Corson. I'm your host. I'm also the publisher and editor of Commercial Construction Renovation magazine. That's what it looks like. You haven't seen it before. Anyway, Friday, TGIF. Long week. Can't believe it. You know, I just thought it was Monday and boom, it's Friday. But man, I got a lot of stuff done. Got a lot of stuff crossed off my to-do list. I've got my colors on, University of Denver. Playing Ohio State Buckeyes in Columbus tomorrow. So the boys are probably already flown in there and landed in Columbus. And boy, do we need a win. Because we lost to Yale last weekend, 13-11, I think it was. Should have won that game. And we lost the weekend before. So we're 3-4. We're out of the top 20, but got to win the Big East to get into the big dance. So the Gents have to get some wins because league play starts in the Big East, I think, after this weekend. And that's the only way they're going to make it into the national tournament. But hellacious schedule. I mean, started out 2-0, and then we ran into the buzzsaw. You know, UNC, Jacksonville State, which is I think they were ranked in the top 10. We ran into UNC, lost by 1 goal, 17-16, and then we just lost to Yale. All top 20 teams. It's amazing lacrosse. You can any given Sunday, any other team can beat any other team. And it comes down to just like 1 or 2 plays. It's amazing. You can look back and say that's where the game was lost. And so I'm alumni. I'm a lacrosse player from DU and lacrosse and ice hockey. But so Fridays it's lacrosse. So my wife knows tomorrow I'll be looking at the screen at noon and yelling and screaming and and she's gonna say as usual, they can't hear you. I know. So, but anyway, hope everybody's having a great Friday and thanks for finding us in on the web today. We're going to have a great conversation. It's women in construction this month of March. So we wanted to have some ladies on the website and on our podcast and our e-digest profiles. And today we have Sarah Payne, who's the brand manager of Rogue Architects down in Fort Worth, Texas. Sarah, say hello to our listeners out there at Commercial Construction Coffee Talk.
Hello to Coffee Talk people.
Hey, there you go. So listen, the reason why we wanted Sarah on was because she just got a promotion to brand manager. So let's say congrats, woo, to Sarah. I saw that on LinkedIn, so wanted to give her props there. Hard work pays off, and but right now there's so much going on. Everybody's busy. They've got umpteen million projects going on. The labor short. No one can. I see more hiring that's going on LinkedIn than I can imagine. Every day I see another brand. We're hiring, but we can't find people to get the jobs done. And I've had so many conversations with, I don't even need more business. I can't even get the jobs done that I have, and that's just an amazing thing. And it doesn't matter if you're an architect or a contractor, HVAC, facility maintenance. I mean, everybody is busy, and that's a positive. So we wanted to get kind of a design perspective, and input of, from the architecture side of things, because without the architect, you can't get the building built because they got to design and spec and make it, sustainable and architecturally stimulating and all that stuff. So they're right there in the planning stage, but they will go throughout the whole construction because afterwards, once the project is complete, like most architects, they want to get it on their website so they can promote and show their services. So Sarah, at Commercial Construction Coffee Talk, we kind of do things in a 3-step gig. You got to tell us your story, where you grew up, got any brothers, sisters, any pets, dogs, cats, play any sports, where you went to school and how you ended up, where you are today. Then we'll talk about, some lessons learned, through the last couple of years. And then, we'll close it out. So with that said, the floor is yours. Tell us your story.
Awesome. Sounds good. So my story is I was born and raised in Tyler, Texas. It's a small town out in East Texas. And my first dream job was actually to be an architect. So I went to UNT in Denton for interior design and realized how much math goes into that and switched to advertising and marketing. Mm-hmm. So I did a freelance for a few years, worked with all kinds of companies, concrete business, Casper mattresses, all sorts of different things. And then one day I found Rogue Architects. I saw their website and I saw that they were looking for a marketing person. And I thought, well, I love architecture and I love marketing. This is a match made in heaven. So I jumped on a phone call with Kevin, that's the CEO, and we just hit it off like we were old pals. And I thought, this is the one for me. So I moved from Dallas to Fort Worth, and I started working at Rogue about a year ago, and I absolutely love it there. It's about 50 people now. We just hit 50, I think 2 months ago. So we're
Mhm.
growing fast. Like you mentioned with the hiring, we cannot get enough people on board. So if there's any architects listening, call us.
Yeah, there you go.
Yeah,
It's amazing. You always wanted to be an architect or a designer when you were growing up, and you don't know how so many people that I have on here that either they ended up in here, they went to school for something completely else, and they never even thought where they were going to end up, or this was what they wanted to do from the beginning. And timing of business is everything. You went through your different things that you've done, and all of a sudden, boom, there was Rogue looking for someone, and you know.
exactly.
Um, when
Yeah.
I got my publishing career, I was in the food business, and my family's still in construction. The other side was in furniture, and I was in food, and I ended up in Atlanta, and I found an advertising job that was in the paper. And sure enough, they had a furniture magazine, and my parents used to run ads in the magazine. They were like, "Oh my God, I met this kid when he was probably 2 years old in the parents' office in New York." So
Yeah.
it's a big small world,
What a crazy
but
journey.
it's timing. Timing
It
is
is.
everything. And
It
so
is.
and just staying positive and looking ahead. And look, you found that ad, and then boom, you had a good conversation with Kevin, and
Yeah,
chemistry is everything as well. So
it
um,
is.
you
It
know,
is.
yeah, really nice story. So you hook up with Rogue,
Yep.
and that was before the pandemic hit. Is that right?
That
Or
was right in the middle of it. It was February of 2021. So we were just then thinking like, oh, it might be over. We're going to start coming back in the office. That summer we got more people coming in. We were almost back to normal. And then, new variant, boom,
yeah.
go home.
Mhm.
So all winter we were remote. And now, once again, 1 year later, we're slowly trickling back in. Now we're more in the office, getting to know each other all over again. So it's been a wild ride for sure.
That with a lot of firms, when the uh, before you were with Rogue, when the pandemic hit, what were you doing then?
I was actually doing freelance marketing for about 4 different companies. So, everybody was trying to think, how do we reach people? How do we get people in our store? How do they trust us again? So I did marketing for several companies, all completely different. And then I thought, you know what, it's time to settle down. Let's commit to one company. Let's commit to
Yeah.
one brand. And I couldn't have found a better one to commit to.
Did a lot of those companies, did they work out of their offices, or did they go remotely and do the digital thing, or was it a hybrid with them?
So back in the beginning, they said basically if you're an essential business, you can be in the office, and if you're not, you're not. And we were split. There was one construction company, they're essential, so they were in the office. There was one concrete company, also essential.
Mhm.
So those were in the office, and then doing marketing, I can do it anywhere. So I mostly just bounced around from office to office, check in, say hello, what's going on, what's new, and then I'd go work remote.
Yeah. When the pandemic hit, it was only supposed to be 3 or 4 weeks. Now it's 2 months to the year
Yeah.
almost.
Yeah.
Yeah, 2 months to the year to actually today. Because I know I was in Milwaukee looking at
Oh,
hotels when the whole thing got cut down, and March Madness got canceled. And um,
yeah. I was
so
in Mexico whenever everything started closing, and I thought, how am I going to get back
yeah,
in?
how'd you get back?
Got
Exactly.
that flight,
Yeah.
and then the toilet paper all disappeared, and I got back, and it was just crazy.
Yeah. But the biggest thing was, when everything hit, that people didn't know how long it was going to last, what was going to happen. They didn't even know what the bug was. But a lot of the conversations that I have with architects, contractors, brands, what were the liabilities going to be, on the construction
Mhm.
site, how are we going to protect our people, how are we going to operate our office, whether, depending on what state you were in, what kind of regulations you were in. And the toughest thing was, I think, was if you didn't have a Gmail or a cell phone, it was very tough to get in touch with people, your clients, and they didn't even want to pick up the phone because they didn't want to tell you, hey, these 40 projects I was going to do, they're pushed back, 3 or 4 months, and they didn't want to give you the bad news. And,
Yep.
or that, hey, my payment plan, it used to be 30 days, now it's going to be 60 to 90. So
Yep.
It was
Everything's going down.
amazing that, I was working out of my house anyway. So I had a home office. I had the big office in the early days, but
Mhm.
it really didn't affect me, but I had all these conversations with people, and it was an amazing thing over the last years. I learned so much about my business and so much
Mhm.
about my clients, of how to stay in touch with them and help them in any way that I could. Um, and now it's more of a do you know anybody? I need a PM. I need a superintendent.
Yes.
I
Going
need a
double
marketing
speed.
person. It is just endless.
Yep.
And um, uh, my wife, she's an interior designer. She can't. I mean, she leaves in the morning and she comes home at the end of the day, and she's like, and another person will call, hey, I want to get my basement done, or and her
Mhm.
and she's not even it's just word of mouth, and it's just unbelievable the amount of businesses out there. Now she's
It's
got
great.
a nice crew of subs that, whether they're electricians, drywall, plumber, etc. But
Yeah.
those guys are getting hit from all these other people, and she's like, hey, don't bail on me, man, because I've got, so
Mhm.
treating all those people that you have, whether they work for either your subs, so important, because you want to make sure your projects get done. And you might have to pay them a little more money, but in the end game, getting your project on time and staying on budget and keeping your client happy, that's the
That's
most
what it's all
amazing,
about.
yeah, no doubt. And
Mhm.
I hear the war stories every day, and it's crazy. And I say, yeah, you won't believe how many resumes I have been sent to me for jobs, looking for people. And I just laugh when they say, I'm like, oh my God, join the crowd. I listen
Yeah.
to it all day long. Oh, I'm looking for a PM. I'm looking for a superintendent. And either
Everyone's
people don't
so
want to
different.
move, they're set where they are, or you know, they don't want to work. They just want to hang out on the government dole. So it's kind of I hate to say it like that, but that's the reality of it. And
It's true. And everybody wants to work from home. Now that's in the benefits package too. Everybody says, how can I work from home? How can
yeah,
I work in my pajamas?
that was the one most. I was going to write my publisher's column on the whole ordeal. If you're a company, you have, let's say you have a 15,000 square foot office space, and you have 80 employees in there, with CAD machines, like talking to an architect. So you got your office, and the pandemic came in. Everybody started working out of their house. Maybe you came in and whatever, but now people, things have kind of. I think the light is at the end of the tunnel for the most
Yes.
part. Listen,
Hope.
Georgia, Texas, we were open states. I mean,
Yeah.
what we weren't in, lockdown, and
Yeah.
but there were protocols in place, but uh, the 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 whole ordeal of learning how to work at home, and then people realized that they had other things to do than just work. You can have a life, and that they don't have to go through traffic every morning, burn gas, then fight traffic in the noon, then have maybe a couple hours with their kids or their dogs or whatever, and then boom, they go to bed. And you know, it's been an amazing thing. And I read this article, maybe it was on LinkedIn,
Mhm.
I forget where I saw it, but it made really sense. Is that a lot of businesses right now that have office space are they have to walk a fine tightrope with their employees, because the employees, they'll go to a concert, they'll go to a sports event or the bars, but they don't want to go back to the office. They want to work out of the
Exactly.
house.
Want to
You
work
know?
from home and then show up for happy hour.
Yeah, exactly. They don't want to go back to the office. And,
Yep.
but then the employer's like, okay, well, I'll just outsource it and get cheaper labor overseas. And, which is, not a very nice thing to think about,
Right.
getting that, but that's one of their options that they can do. Or they can work with their employees and see, hey, can we do a hybrid, or, whatever. I just had a gentleman the other day. He says he goes, he was an MEP out of New York, and
Mhm.
said they hadn't been in the office for 2 years, but
Wow.
now they come in hybrid. It comes in 3 days a week into the
Yeah, that's
city.
what we're doing.
Yeah, so
Mhm.
it's you get out, and I think a lot of companies are going that, or they might get a little smaller space and they don't need it. Some people will just stay and working at remotely, and
Yeah.
but it was an amazing article. How business owners have to, and then all the other things. The gossip at the office. So many
The
distractions, and
culture.
but when you're at home, do you trust your employees to get things done? How do we keep our company culture? So
That's what
that's
we're
why I said
doing.
I've learned so much about my business, because we went from print face to digital, and
Yeah.
like right now, you know, the, you know, we're talking you're 700-800 miles away, 15-hour ride probably from Atlanta to Fort Worth. But here we are having a conversation, and this
Yeah,
isn't going away. I mean, people know that
great.
technology can use it. It's not, seeing people face to face is you're not gonna be able to replace that. Like we saw each other in
True.
December in Phoenix.
Yes.
So that was my first face-to-face event in 2 years. It was
Oh
great to see
my
people,
gosh.
you know?
It
I mean, my
is.
last one was February of 2020, right before everything got shut down. We were in Florida at Coconut Grove taking a tour of a shopping center, and we ended up in this bar right across the street, and called the Barracuda Bar, I think it was. Anyway, and then everything got frozen. So I mean, it was so even myself,
Been crazy.
but I had a digital platform for my magazine, and so I don't want to use the word pivot because everybody's heard it,
Not pivot.
but we
Always
pivoted.
pivoting.
You know,
Always pivot.
well, I'm a sports guy. I planted and I turned, and so the we made the adjustment, but some people they weren't able to do it, and
Right.
but
It's weird.
it really was an amazing thing, and God, I learned so much about just a lot of things, history on the country, and I
Yeah.
don't listen to the news anymore. I'm more on the web. I want to get my research done, and I'm going to make my decisions on myself. So it's been really an amazing, and seeing all the transformation of a lot of my buds, and I've known them for the last 20-25 years,
Mhm.
have gone through it, but right now business is really good in the commercial sector, whether you're doing retail, restaurant, hospitality, multifamily, killing it right now, healthcare, federal, craft brew, cannabis. I mean, soon it's going to be legalized everywhere. It's and then the wild west, and then who knows what's going to happen. But it's
That'll be fun.
it's an amazing time to be at an architecture firm because there's so many different things that are going on, especially even some like
Right.
even like a movie theater, or if you were a restaurateur that had buffets, now they're all starting to come back, but with all the protocols, it's been amazing to
Yeah.
see how they've done those things. So
Crazy
let's
how
talk.
much.
I was
Oh
gonna
yeah.
say, no, I was gonna say with Rogue,
Yeah.
what do you think some of the lessons that you guys learned? Because you came in kind of right in the middle of it, so you kind of
Yeah.
saw where it was and the transition. What do you give us some feedback on that?
I think it is crazy how much our world has changed recently. It feels like we are so disconnected with the face to face, like you were talking about, but we're also more connected than ever. Like you were saying, you can learn anything about anything on the web. And now that we have like so much has moved to social media, you can see anyone's life. I mean, people will show you how they make their bed in the morning and how they like their coffee. You can learn everything about people who are miles and miles away, like we're doing right now. I don't think this would have happened without it. So I think this has really allowed us to connect more with a wide variety of people. Um, and since I got to Rogue on the marketing front, we've been in sort of a research and development phase for the past year, just testing a little bit of everything. So we're still trying print. We're doing podcasts like this. We're doing a lot of social media, a lot of digital. So yeah, we've been just seeing what works and how do we connect with people in a world where we're so connected digitally, but disconnected physically. Like you said, this past year, we finally got back to shows a little bit. And
Mhm.
it's crazy how much has changed. I mean, I think a lot of people found it tough to figure out how to socialize again, you know? And then some people were just really excited to get back. So we did, let's see, we went to Retail Live in Orlando. I think that was our first show back. That was in May of last year. And it was a lot of fun to get back, but so many people have changed positions too. You know,
Mhm.
you've got Richard over here, who was the director of construction somewhere, and now he's in a completely different industry, but we
Mhm.
still find ways to work with them.
Oh
So
yeah.
it's crazy how the network has just grown and changed so much. And with hiring too, I mean, I think we've gained a third of our workforce in the past year, and it's just all new people. It's a
Yeah.
new world, but it's been good.
Hey,
It's been
listen, the
busy.
day you stop learning is the day should go and do something else. And if
Exactly.
it was funny. I'm a million miler. I've been flying I'm out of Atlanta, so I fly Delta. So I hadn't flown since February of 2020 or March when I was up in Milwaukee. So when the December gig, came up, and we decided we'd do our cocktail party, I went online and I was like, oh my God, I forgot my password. I had to look it up on my phone because it had been so long. And I went in and when the pandemic hit, they were doing all this construction at the airport. So they had moved the bus shuttle. So when I landed, I came back from Phoenix. I was like, oh my God, where do I catch the shuttle? And I felt like, I was a tourist or something, And
Yeah, had to relearn everything.
oh yeah,
Oh,
it
yeah.
was funny. I told him, I'm like, oh my God, I don't even remember my pin to even go in and book my ticket. And
Oh my
so
gosh.
it was it was interesting, and but it was really fun to see everybody in Phoenix. That was a
Yeah,
really cool thing, and
it was. That was a great party, by the way.
no, no, yeah, listen, we had a
Yeah.
nice turnout, and I'm gonna bring it back. If that's the one thing that I would bring back, I would bring back those, and uh,
Yeah.
you know, doing my lead our virtual event in January went well,
Mhm.
and I actually ran it out of my last issue. I said, I'm going to do a hybrid, so I'm leaving it open. I want to see how some of the events come back and how things work, and I'll make a decision in January if I'm going to stay virtual. Maybe I'll do half and half or a little. I'm just going to play it by ear. But I plan it out there. I still want to do my big event in January, and I'll be able to find a hotel if I need to. There's plenty of them out there. I just have to
Yep.
do it in a warm place, and and the good thing is that God forbid there's a snowstorm, in either New York, Philly, or Chicago, and I lose 50 people for my event, they can log in and do it. So I think being a hybrid gives you the best of both worlds. And but like I said, I'm doing a wait and see how things go, and then I'll make my decision. And
That's a good
but
plan.
yeah,
Hybrid.
yeah. But the cocktail parties I want to bring back. I definitely
Yeah.
I want to do. I want to come down to Fort Worth, Dallas, and I always used to do that like in March, April, in that time frame. I want to do one here locally in Atlanta, and there's X amount of places where I would go. So
They're
um,
great. It's so casual. You just get to bump into people, you make friends like we met, and then it turns into something beautiful.
yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
So, what's one of the coolest projects that you've just finished? At Rogue that you might want to talk about?
Oh man, well, we are
Yeah, I
like
know you have so
said,
many.
we are
So,
so many. We are so slammed right now, but it's great. We've brought on several new clients now, and our regular clients are just booming with work. So we just cannot hire enough people.
is it a
Um,
lot of new build, or is it renovation work that you think that or is it a
we
50-50 split?
are we're kind of a mixed bag. We've been doing a lot of conversions, a lot of remodels. People are really changing up the retail landscape and restaurant as well. I mean, the mobile kiosks now, to go ordering, delivery. We're all finding different channels to get the product to the consumer faster, better, and make it a good experience. Um, so right now, I can't name names,
Yeah,
but
no, I hear you.
we
Uh-huh.
have some very exciting clients. We're doing everything from quick and easy restaurants, sit down dining, big box retail. We just brought on a certain car company, and we're doing a lot of their what is it, training centers. We've got service centers coming up. And yeah, it's a mixed bag. We're doing some ground up for sure. But a lot of the big box retail stores, like big furniture stores, we're converting a lot of those into like uh, new stores. I'll
Yeah,
say that.
yeah, yeah.
Yeah,
Hey,
we've got a whole lot going on.
listen,
It's good.
all the office space is going to have to get converted, whether it's into affordable housing or
Yep.
whatever it might be. I mean, it's amazing what's get done. And talking about cars, my son he bought a F-150, and he came into Atlanta to get it, and we went into the dealership. I mean, it was beautiful. I mean,
Oh yeah. The new
it was like a
dealership.
hotel. I mean,
Yes.
everything, it looked beautiful in there, and it was a rent, and this dealership had been there it was a landmark up here, in northern Atlanta, but had been redone, hadn't been in it forever. And I was like, wow, check this out. They got the cafe, they got the TV,
Yeah.
they got this, I mean,
They look brand new. We
yeah,
have one that's 118,000 square footer in Florida, and it was a furniture store. We're converting that into a dealership now. And I'm really excited to see that because you just strip it down and you make it brand new. Like you
mhm.
never know what it used to be. So those are exciting.
Well, look, if you're out there in commercial construction coffee talk land, listen to this. I know that you all are thinking the same thing because, retail, what you saw 5 years ago is going to look completely different in a couple of years, especially in the restaurant sector. I mean, more drive-through lanes, less in dining, more to go. It runs the gamut, and it's amazing. You drive around, you should just keep a pad in your car, and just write down. There's a Ingles shopping center that, which I didn't think was the greatest location. Anyway, they closed it, and Florida Core came in. My wife was ecstatic because she always used to go down and have to get samples at this other store that was, X amount. So anyway, they came in and, I told her about it. She's like, no way. I'm like, yeah, go up there. I saw the sign, and they're taking an old supermarket and they're going to, make it into a different big box. And it's been nice seeing the conversion because, it's on the main road. And as I'm making my travels, up and back from the house, I'm watching it progress, and it's been, all that stuff is very, very cool, because you're taking the old, you're retrofitting, and boom, it's going to look brand new and something else. And then all these people are like, wow, now I don't have to go to that one. I can go to this one. So it's expansion, and retailers, if you're not growing, you're dying, So you're either building or taking old spaces and, and retrofitting them. And that's all it has to go with sustainability and reuse. And so it's all good. I never buy in any of the art. Listen, I'm a publisher and editor, so whenever I read stuff in, on the news, sometimes you have to read 3 or 4 paragraphs down. They'll say, oh, this brand is closing 30 or 40 stores, but they're opening up 30 new ones, or retrofitting, 75. So,
it's changing. We have
it,
one client that has 7 different prototypes that they're rolling out this year. Just trying new things, new designs, new shapes, new sizes. It's all about growth.
If there was one positive thought or phrase that you wanted to leave with our listeners out there, going into Q2 of 2022, and like I said, we're coming out of the, of the last 2 years, what would it be?
I think, so the phrase that I like to live by is determination over destiny, which means you don't get to pick where you came from. You don't get to pick what you're given, but you take what you're given and you work hard and you can do anything. Especially right now, everyone's changing. Everyone's thinking, I spent 10 years going down a certain path in my life and maybe I'm not happy. Pick up and change it. You don't have to be destined to do one thing. You can always change, and you can work hard and achieve anything you want. So
where did you get that? Where did you get that phrase? Where did you find that?
There was a very long quote a long time ago that I read, and determination and destiny were in it. Can't remember the whole thing, but I just shrunk it down and I put that on everything. Determination over destiny.
All right.
Yeah.
Awesome.
Short and sweet.
Determination over destiny. Listen, I'm a lacrosse athlete. I was like talking business in sports. It's win and lose, and listen. You want to win the big trophy, you want to be the champion, you got to have determination, you got to work hard, and you got to have a goal and a destiny, involved. Sometimes it works, sometimes it doesn't, but you know what? You win, you lose, you learn from your experiences. And just like right now, my University of Denver Pioneers were 3-4, I think. So season's not over. You still are there. You still can make it. You just got to get her done.
Determination. Get her done. Yep, that's a good.
Done.
Get her done. Absolutely.
If someone wanted to reach out to Rogue Architects down there in Fort Worth, and look if they're looking for help with services, or if they're an architect or a designer or a CAD person, or because you guys are hiring, how would they reach out to you? So
I would say, so if you're a new client, we have Greg Mooney. He's our director of sales, great guy. You can reach him at greg@roguearchitects.com. And then for just about anything else in the whole world, if you want to say hello, if you want to apply for a job, if you have questions, info@roguearchitects.com. That's how you can reach us. And you can check out our website. It's roguearchitects.com. Great site. You can learn a lot, see what we're up to lately, see our new projects coming up. So yeah, call Greg or call us 817-820-0043. Give us a call.
I've known Mr. Mooney forever. I'm giving my age away, but
yes,
he's
great guy.
First class individual. So
absolutely.
I'm sure that if you give him a buzz, he'll take care of you. If anyone wants to reach me, I'm at davidc@ccr-mag.com. If you got any cool projects, you want some ink, I always tell, I know I'm going to say it again for you people that always listen to these things. You don't buy a lottery ticket, you can't win. So if you don't send me something, I can't get it in the magazine or get it up on social media. But believe me, I look at everything. Just like Google looks at everything. I look at everything. I'll find a spot for you. I'm posting, 10 to 1 o'clock every morning. It's insane. So send me something. You never know what might end up in digital ink, as they say. So, send it to me and we'll take a look at it. So Sarah, pleasure having you on Commercial Construction Coffee Talk, and happy Women in Construction Month for the month of March. Very exciting. Glad you guys are kicking tail down there in Texas, in Fort Worth. And I'm gonna look at the schedule, and I'm gonna pick a date. And I want to do Houston, Dallas, Fort Worth. Normally when I do Dallas, Fort Worth, I always end up like in Las Colinas or kind of in between, because the Dallas people don't like going to Fort Worth. Fort Worth doesn't go, and it's kind of that central spot. So I kind of can get the best of both worlds. And but Fort Worth, booming area. I mean, just unbelievable growth. And Dallas is still growing. So it's but coming down there, listen, we used to have a showroom at the trade center there, and the furniture market used to be in the summer. So when I was working for my parents, they used to send me down there, and it would be so hot, and I'd have to go down and empty the trailers and bring the new sofas in and the upholstery. And so if I'm going to come down there, I don't want to come down there because it's hot here in Atlanta too. So I don't want to do it in the middle of summer. So I'm thinking, okay, it's March now. Maybe I'll do it, maybe June before it does get hot. So I'm gonna definitely think about it. So
Sounds good. We'd love to have you over here. It's fun.
All right. So Sarah, say goodbye from Fort Worth.
Goodbye from Fort Worth. Thanks for having me.
And I'm going to sign off from Sugar Hill, just below the Beaufort Dam by Lake Lanier. And to all of you, listen, hope you had a great St. Patrick's Day yesterday. Enjoy the weekend. Q2's coming up, spring for a lot of people. And have a great rest of the year. And we will see you next time on another episode of Commercial Construction Coffee Talk. And Sarah, I'll see you again in person. All right.
Sounds good. See you soon.
All right. We'll see you later. Thanks.
Bye.